Grady, Autumn, thank you guys for joining the Revised Spotlight series. Super excited to have you guys on. For you guys watching, I'm Trevor Park. I'm the VP of Marketing at Digital, and I'm excited to be hosting this. Really excited to have you guys here. To kick it off, I want you to kind of say who you are, what you guys do for Resi.
Yeah, I'll go first. So I had marketing. I'm the director of marketing over at Resi. Started about a mere 5 months ago. It's both longer and shorter at the same time. But I've been in the industry for about 7 years. And I was at an owner-operator before I joined the team at Resi. And I'm dedicated to all things growth and making sure that Resi is providing really great solutions to our clients and we're growing sustainably.
I love it.
Hi, I'm Grady, founder of Resi. Been in this industry for really my whole life in one way or another. And with this iteration of an attempt at making a company really rock and roll for the last 10 years.
I love it. And as you had mentioned, you talked with Ben already in a little bit, so we're going to insert the clip for that episode, probably right here. And we won't reiterate too much of that, but I do want to kind of understand, how did you get into the industry? Like, what brought you, one, into multifamily, but then two, into Resi, besides Grady's just dreamy eyes?
Oh yeah. I fell into multifamily, stumbled into it like so many people do, and now never see myself leaving. So it was 2017, I was just getting done with grad school and I was ready for my next adventure after I got my grad degree. And I'm born and raised and based out of Lincoln, Nebraska. And so I was looking for my new thing. And they were hiring a head of marketing over at my previous company, an owner-operator. And I started there. I was a marketer of one for the most part. And I scaled the marketing org department to about 5 people, which was a lot for 6,000 units.
Yeah.
But we did a lot of stuff in-house. We did marketing really, really well, and we did it so well that I was ready to do a bit more of the marketing that I loved, and I was ready to kind of turn the tide or flip the coin a bit, and I got connected with this guy somehow through some mutual connections, and I guess the rest is history, as they say. So
That's awesome. In grad school then, what did you study?
So I got an MBA with a specialization in marketing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So putting your degree to work.
Yeah.
My dad constantly asks me, he's like, what are you doing with that art degree?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Not a damn thing.
No, she knows her stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The amount of structure that she's able to put to just some of the crazy ideas that I have, and as well as know when to say no and how to say that's not going to work well.
We make a good team.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about Resi then. How is Resi changing the space? And I say that from my own perspective of what I'm seeing, but also I'd love to know what's the problem you are all solving, and how are you going about it differently than the other solutions out there?
So really the initial problem we sought out to solve was how to create beautiful custom websites, and then how do we do that at scale really well? And I think we've developed a great system to be able to do that today, to make integrations easy. And then the second half of it is, how do we help complete the data? How do we help make the data much more rich to enable our clients and the marketing teams we work with to actually have a good set of information to make decisions on? And I saw that as completely lacking in our industry. And so that's what we've really tried to build.
Yeah. That's awesome. We really try and close the circle on performance marketing in the digital space. Yeah. So it's not just a beautiful website. It is a beautiful website that performs really well for marketing and for leasing to get all of that high quality traffic through, and it's going to convert at a high rate should the on-site team do what they need to do with the tools they have after our job is done with the website.
Well, and so as somebody that had come from out of industry into multifamily, that sounds like should be table stakes. How is that different than what you guys are currently seeing in the market with some of the competitors? What makes that different, and how, what's that some of that special sauce, I guess?
Sure. Well, some of the needs I think within multifamily are a bit unique in your ability to, like, speed is necessity, and I think that's been a top priority. Speed and cost are, number one, usually decision-making factors for companies, and that's resulted in a template system. And template system limits your ability to test things. It has a lot of restrictions to it. And so that's why we've really that's why I saw an opportunity to bring in, okay, how can we still accomplish these goals, be fast to market, and do it at a cost that's going to be able to make sense, and still being able to test different UI, to have us focus really on components, and how do we make this more like an e-commerce experience than what we've typically seen in this industry.
That's super exciting.
Yeah, so we've shifted to productizing a bit and how we approach it, website as a service or WAS, or I don't know how we're going to formulate that terminology,
Yeah.
but website as a service, and we're pushing out feature updates, again, make sure that they have the best performance for their site, and that's automatic. And that expertise is coming from our team who knows multifamily and the digital space so well.
Nice. So talk a little bit more about the WAS of things. Like we'll make that a thing in this video, but like, is that the future that you guys are seeing for Resi for the next couple of years, of like being able to like get into this more website as a service space, as you had said? Like, what does that look like?
Well, I mean, that's definitely one of the primary features of our setup, is that we don't build a website and then it's done. Like, you're building a lobby, right? This is something that has continuous upgrades. We're treating this like software when we're allowing us to focus on how do we make this component this much better? How do we make this, how do we test this out on different properties, be able to pass that information on to our clients to showcase this is a better way to do this. And this is how we can push it out to all of your websites without having to make some major upgrade and having a cost associated with it. But that's just an ongoing part of what you pay for with us.
Well, then kind of shifting gears then, 2025 trends. Marketing trends, it's kind of the more focus of this, but if you have trends outside of that, like what are you seeing in 2025 for our industry that you feel like people are really going to be focused on for next year?
Well, I'm going to just ask a question right back with that. When you say people, which people? Because we have a lot of people involved in this industry, both vendors, operators, and then maybe even more importantly, renters.
Yeah.
I could answer that question from a lot of different angles.
I'm thinking more so dealer's choice thing. If you want to focus on what trends are going to be adopted by residents, let's tackle that one.
I like to always start with renters first.
Vote for Grady. This ad campaign was paid for by Resi.
No, and so that's where I really do like to always try to look through that lens, and it's not always easy in the industry where we're working, because regularly we're working with operators on a daily basis, and so trying to make sure that we're keeping that in mind always and making like kind of apt recommendations around that is important. Something that I will push as, I think a trend that should continue to grow is just continuing to add value to the renter. That if we're going to continue to try to raise rents, one, we're in an environment where that's going to be really tough, probably for 2025. But we want to but maintaining renters and keeping your occupancy up is going to be a priority. And I think that we do that by adding value. And there's a lot of different ways to add value, but in general, focusing on that resident experience, focusing on how do we just make some small improvements in the daily lives of our renters, whether that be through education, kind of connection with the community, or any other variety of ways to actually connect with humans. I think is an important piece that I'd like to see as a trend in 2025.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think the one thing I'd say, like on the marketing side and owner operators, and I guess as it relates to us as well, is what I've observed the last several years, 5 maybe so, is there's been an arms race of a bit of how much technology can you implement and own in your tech stack. And it's got a bit too much. I mean, you visit a website, there's 2-3 widgets, a pop-up, there's your website, there's various other elements within a website, and that's just the website. And then you go through the CRM, and there's a lot of tech stack. So I think, and what I see is people taking a step back and trying to like hyper optimize their workflows and their systems, and they're taking a more intentional approach about what really is their goal and choosing the tech stack that works best for them. And to also take a little bit of a step back from, you mentioned AI earlier before we really started questions, is almost like, I don't want to say an anti-AI approach, but not having AI being renter first experiences and making sure that the human element of our business like supersedes everything. Because I think that is going to be the biggest differentiator as AI takes a front seat, is the people who are putting humans first, they're going to win. And that's one of the qualities we try and have in our business is we have a great product and we want to productize and deliver great technology to our clients, but you have people at the end of the day. And so we're a people-powered product.
That's cool. I love it. Well, that's awesome. I appreciate you guys being on the show. And
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Such an apt.
yeah, that's a great note to end on.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I was going to interject something, and then I was like, that was...
Yeah, Grady and Autumn for president. I love this. Yeah.
You'll be my vice?
Oh, I love it. I could totally see Dick Cheney for him.
Didn't he get chat?
Thanks for that.